Okay, let's talk about where they are. Football camp will be opening within a week for them. San Diego State has lost the community. Their season ticket count at the shiny new stadium has gone from 19,973 to 5,953. Think about that erosion. That's like 66% of the season ticket holders who bought into the excitement of Aztec football, Snapdragon Stadium, have walked away from it. How do you rally back? I'll ask this, because the fun term right now is Aztec for life. Would you please tell me where the fans and the alumni, the quote Aztecs for life, are? Because they're not supporting San Diego State football. Sean Lewis has been there 1 year. It was a miserable 3-9 football season. Some of this is fueled by the revelation that he just finally signed his 5-year contract that's going to pay him $1.8 million this season, elevates it up to $2.3 million. There are buyouts. If he gets fired, he's going to get 75% of the contract. If he wants to leave, he's got to pay a chunk of money to get out of the contract. There's a whole bunch of upper-level management things, though. This whole San Diego State football move into Snapdragon, to me, has been totally mismanaged. Bad timing, the arrival of the NIL, the transfer portal taking over the sport. The athletic department, I think, has made terrible mistakes in terms of pricing what Aztec football might be worth in terms of tickets. People bought into the shiny new stadium year one, and they've walked away forever, and they're not coming back because the ticket prices and the parking prices and the food prices are way too high. Having won, last year was miserable. Such expectation, and I'll plead guilty because I thought Sean Lewis had hit the floor running with his recruiting contacts. The player turnover is ungodly. They've had 9 different quarterbacks now in the 2 years that Sean Lewis will be head coach. They've had 1 year, 49 new players came in last year when Lewis came on. There's 55 new players via the transfer portal and recruiting that are showing up this coming season. And the next person that I meet that talks about them being excited about the Aztecs going into the rebuilt Pac-12, the next person I meet that makes that statement will be the first person I've met. I don't know anybody that thinks this is special. It's like Mountain West 2.0. How do you market this? And San Diego State hasn't helped themselves. Get this, their Division I program, San Diego State has not scheduled a football media day. They're not bringing their players in. They're not bringing their new quarterbacks in. The coach is not being made available to the media during this stretch of time just before they launch preseason workouts. And to me, that's absurd. The Padres are on a 10-game road trip. You have the whole market to yourself this week into early next week where you could spend an hour and you'd get all the TV stations and what's left of sports talk radio to come participate because there's nothing else out there to cover. And here's the shocker. Aside from the erosion of the season ticket base, Sean Lewis is 3-9. There's no energy in the community. There's absolutely no support within the community. And it wasn't that long ago that Brady Hoke and Rocky Long were combined 106-48. And look where we are today. So I asked, how do you rally this community back? What does San Diego State do? Because right now, they are so far behind the power curve, especially in community support. You know, the last 2 home games, they had just a shade over 10,000 walk into the stadium. 10,000. In a Division I program that they'd hope would fill the Snapdragon every home game at 32,000. They've lost the community. Mistakes, bad football, obviously the change into the landscape, transfer portal, NIL, new coach, etc. Sean Lewis is not in trouble as a head coach, but he can't be 3-9 this coming season again. But the bigger picture, John, how do you rally back? Where are all these people that say, Aztec for life? John, the podium is yours.
Okay, here you go with your negative Nelly stuff again. Okay, the facts that you shared, the record, the season tickets, all of those facts are true. but we don't necessarily have to have a negative spin on every single one of those. And by the way, 2 other facts that you didn't have on your list was COVID was in the middle of this whole thing leading up to the stadium opening.
It's 5 years back, though.
But still, it was all part of Aztec fan was sort of disconnected from the program. The team was playing up in Carson and they were still winning, but it felt like not really a San Diego team then. And then COVID hit. So the circumstances have been horrible timing. It's like a perfect storm of things that are cooking here that aren't necessarily Sean Lewis's fault. Okay, so I think from my perspective, we know what the Aztec basketball program is. If the team wins, there's going to be excitement. Is it going to be, like Ohio State football? No, but I think it can be, a solid part of the mix. There's no reason why they can't get at least the number of fans in the stadium that San Diego FC gets and the same kind of energy that San Diego FC gets, probably more than that. They should. But if the coach is able to get a winning record, then I think we'll start to see a shift. But yeah, we've had the exodus of players. That's all part of the transfer portal. That's happening everywhere. It's just a tricky time, man. It's just hard. But what's interesting is in your best 15, you said today that he just signed his contract. He didn't sign the contract a year ago when he got hired?
They had a memorandum of understanding, but there were clauses there that they were still negotiating because he gets paid by the athletic department, but he also gets paid by the research foundation. And they had to negotiate. There was a clause in the contract. If they change conferences, how does that impact his bonus clauses? And if they change conferences, what's the lump sum he can get to use to hire assistant coaches? So there are a whole bunch of things that had to be negotiated because its transition to the rebuilt Pac-12 was taking place.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, he's got 4 more years left on this contract. He just can't go 3-9. But you think about the emotion right now in the community, it's at 0 compared to Brady Hoke, Rocky Long, where they were combined 106-48.
Well, if the interest in the community is 0, which I tend to agree with you, why in the hell are they not having a media day and getting, TV stations, newspaper, talk show, podcasters, even anything? It's like free publicity for the program.
I don't understand their whole rationale. I think they've made so many mistakes. Unless, and I have a hard time buying this, but there are other people, unless the other people say they don't care about football because they're a basketball school.
That's crap.
I think that's a reach.
Yeah.
That's where we are. I'm looking for an Aztec for life. Please go into the Fans Forum chat box. Take over your segment of this podcast and explain what's wrong at San Diego State. Write us now. Get in line so we can get you on.